All right, everybody, we are here today with another street parking member, or I don't know what order these will be released, but I'm here today with one of our street parking members, one of our younger, I don't want to say youngest, because that probably actually isn't true, but one of our younger street parking members who is in town to help us film the first 5 workouts of the 2023 Vault. And I don't know when these episodes will be released, but as of this recording, Jackson Arnau,
yeah.
is here with me. He's already done his vault workout, which we're not going to tell you what it was.
Yeah.
He crushed it, and it was brutal.
Yeah.
But Jackson is 13 years old from Tucson, Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
You've been a member for a year?
About that time, yeah.
So you finished this last vault, 2022.
Yes.
Did you finish it the first time through?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so he's been a member for a year, just about, from Tucson. And I asked him before this interview, what else are you into? Like, what else do you do? Do you play sports, whatever? And the list was long.
Yeah.
So Jackson also enjoys rock climbing, wrestling, mountain biking, and plays the saxophone.
That's right.
Did I miss anything in that?
No.
Any other sports or anything? I heard you talking about cross country earlier, too.
Yeah. Did I not add that in there?
I don't think you added that in there.
Oh, no. Okay. Yeah, I run cross country for my school. And this is my first year, but I'd like to say I did pretty well.
What grade are you in?
I'm in 8th grade.
You're in 8th grade.
Mm-hmm.
You turned 13 in August.
Yeah.
So you'll be 14 next August.
Yep.
And you do the workouts, the street parking workouts at home with your mom
and dad.
and your dad.
Or it's sometimes by myself, depending on if they're...
Oh, sometimes by yourself. How often do you work out by yourself?
I'd say like 2 to 5 times a week. Like it's not that often, but usually when I'm doing strength sessions, like a bench or anything like that, I do it by myself because there's no point for them being there with me.
Okay, that's really cool. So before we get into, we're going to talk a lot, obviously, about fitness and why you do it and what you do and everything like that. And hopefully there'll be some parents out there that will have their kids that are around your same age listen to this, and you can give them a little advice and stuff. But before we do that, let's just establish some personality traits and what you've got going on. Some warm-up questions.
All right.
First question. Am I old?
To me, no.
That was a trick question.
Yeah, I was like thinking about like if I say yes, I'm probably gonna get kicked out of the room.
What age is considered old to you? Is your mom old?
No, she's still kicking ass in life, so I wouldn't say that. Like old in what aspect? Like old as in can't do anything?
Nah,
anymore?
like old like they don't know what they're talking about. They're old. Lame.
Yeah, probably like.
It probably depends on the person.
Yeah, I know it depends. Depends on the
old
person.
Old is an attitude.
Yeah, because I know a bunch of like 70, 80, or 5-year-olds who are still like have the spirit of a 30-year-old. Like I know there's plenty of old people that have young personality, and young people have an old personality. So I mean, that's. I don't know how to answer that, to be honest.
It's a very good answer that won't make people upset.
Yeah.
You said to me earlier that you watch comedy movies with your dad.
Yes, that's right. What's
your favorite comedy movie of all time?
Wow, that is a big question. Probably I can't really think of anyone
One of your
specific.
Favorites.
Yeah. I can't remember the name, but I'd say I really liked Brian Callen. His stand-up, either that.
Oh, so you watch like comedy routines, like stand-up.
Yeah,
comedy.
stand-up.
Not like I mean, I feel like your generation doesn't have as funny of movies as we had back in the day.
Yeah.
But like, so you watch stand-up comics.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like stand-up comedy and sketch comedy.
Okay.
Those
That's
two.
Cool.
So yeah, there's many artists. I like Jim Gaffigan,
Funny.
Brian Callen, Nate Bargatze, sometimes Joe Coy. Those type of people, and then sketch comedy. I like Gillen Keeves, just those type of artists. But yeah, I'd say I like Brian Callen a lot.
Cool. You also told me that you're learning to play cards. Is there a specific game that you're learning?
Rummy, yeah.
Rummy.
Yeah, I'm learning to play Rummy.
Are you? How long have you been working on Rummy?
We started like a week or 2 weeks ago. Yeah,
okay.
I get beat pretty much every time. So
but it's like fitness. You just got to practice.
Yeah,
you gotta work on your strategy. You'll figure it out. Mm-hmm. That's really cool. I know one of the things that we want to teach our boys how to play is chess. Have you ever played chess?
Yeah, I play chess.
I don't even know how to play chess.
No. Yeah, I wouldn't say I play it often, but I play a good amount of times.
Okay. You also told me, I mean, you have so many interests. You also told me that you like to read.
Oh yeah, I
What
love
book
to
are
read.
you reading right now, or what was one of your more recent books that you liked?
Probably Percy Jackson, the Percy Jackson series.
Okay, I've heard of those.
Yeah, I've read them at least 4 times each. So I'm reading one of them right now. Just it's entertaining. It never stops being entertaining.
Do you actually physically read, or do you do audiobooks, or a combination?
I don't listen to audiobooks. I read. I feel like I feel like it's just better for the brain to actually read
Sure.
instead of just plugging in and listening to it.
What when do you read? Is it like a nighttime thing? Do you have like a routine with it?
It's usually the nighttime, but if we're on car or plane rides, that's when I will pretty much always find a chance to get out
That's
in a
great.
good book and read for like an hour or two.
Okay, cool. What do your friends think about your workout routine that you do at home with your parents?
Yeah, sometimes it gets like a bit of a mixed reaction. Some of them are like, "You do what now?" And but others think it's pretty cool, and a couple of them ask to join in from time to time, which I think is super cool.
Do you guys work out in your garage? Like, do you have like a good setup?
Yeah, we have a pretty, not decked out, but a pretty good garage gym.
Do any of your other friends have a garage gym?
No. I mean, one of them has like a squat rack and a
Okay.
barbell, but I don't think to the extent that we have.
It's always interesting because like my boys, they don't know that some people park their cars in their garage because they've never seen it, because everyone that works here, like even Julian's mom who watches them, like everyone in their life, because they're only all under 5 years old, everyone in their life has a gym in their garage. So I think that they're going to think that it's weird that people park their cars in there.
Yeah, I think it's great that you're introducing these kids to fitness and to these aspects this early. So I feel like that's setting them up for success in life.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Do your friends think that it's weird that you work out with your parents? Like, not that you like to work out, but do they ever like you do with your mom? Like, you just want to hang out with your mom?
Yeah, sometimes sometimes that happens, but
You're like, whatever.
I brush it up. Like I don't care. That's not gonna stop me from
That's
doing
great.
it. Yeah.
Have you ever invited your friends, or you said that sometimes your friends will come work out with you? Do you have any funny stories about like the workout that you did today? We're not going to say what it was brutal. Like, do you have any funny stories about a friend maybe that came in? One of my favorite things is to watch people who are overconfident and have never done these types of workouts before come in, and they're like, oh, what? Like 12 minutes or that's it? And they do the workout. Do you have any funny stories about your friends coming that have never done it before and having something like that?
I don't think any of them are overconfident. I just remember this one time where it was some cardio. It was like 800-meter run, like 30 or 50 alternating snatches, 800-meter run, snatches, 800-meter run. And the first 800-meter run, my friends was doing good, and they
come out too hot.
Ran through the snatches, and then on the second 800-meter run, they were just like, you could see the dramatic difference in stamina. And the third one, they were taking walk breaks. I was like, come on, let's get this moving, but they were just like sucking it, like they were wheezing. Like, it was funny.
Did they come back?
Oh yeah, they came back.
Okay, that's good. That's always a good test.
Yeah.
How old were you when you started doing these types of workouts? So outside of just like sports and stuff like that.
Well, I started CrossFit at like 7, I think. We have videos of me like super young me doing just like goblet squats with like a 2-pound dumbbell with my dad.
Wow, that's so cute.
Yeah, going on runs. But yeah, I was introduced to CrossFit very early, and I've just followed it ever since, I guess.
Have you noticed a difference, or have you ever had coaches of some of these other sports that you do say anything to you about how that's helped you in those sports? Like, or do you notice a difference between what you're able to do in your sports? Not saying that you have to be the best on your teams or anything like that, but have you noticed like, oh, I don't get tired as quickly, or I can jump higher than a lot of the kids because I've done strength training, and most kids your age haven't done that kind of stuff. Like, what differences have you noticed?
Yeah, I've noticed that in wrestling matches, because I'm like knee deep in endurance and stamina things in street parking. I've noticed that if the match has gone into like the second and third period where it's like going on for a long time, I've definitely noticed that I'm still at the point where I was from the beginning of the match, and my opponent is definitely like very, very tired. Like
You're recovering better during it.
yeah, I can just hold out longer. I've more stamina than a lot of my opponents. So
I think probably some of that I would assume comes down to, I assume your family probably eats pretty well.
yeah, we do.
Give us a breakdown of like an average day of what you eat.
We definitely try to get protein and meat in there.
Do you eat breakfast?
Yeah, I do breakfast. I usually strive to eat average like about 4 eggs, I think.
Okay.
So
do you cook your food, or does somebody
no,
cook it for you
my
still?
mom cooks my food. I'm not at the point yet. So
Okay.
yeah, eggs, omelets, egg wraps, just
Nice.
those type of things. And
Okay.
for lunch, it's at school. Obviously, I just pack a sandwich or something
Okay.
light like that. And then for dinner, we strive to have protein, like chicken, let's say, and then vegetables and something on the side, like broccoli and rice. That, and then it can like range from a variety of different things, but that's like the core. We want to have protein, vegetables, and something on the side, like rice or something like that.
Most people your age, they are eating a lot of like, especially boys, it's like chips and like, I don't know, I might be dating myself here. I don't know if people still drink this, but like Mountain Dew, like soda,
yeah.
and that kind of stuff. Do you enjoy that stuff too, or do you stay away from it, or how do you balance that with like your goals of being healthy?
I do my best to stay away from that. Like I can, especially with sodas, I can like taste the sugar in it almost like that other kids can't. Like they'd be guzzling like 2 or 3 cans. Like I'll have a few sips. I'm like, it's good, but I can taste the sugar and I'll like give it to someone else. But yeah, I mean once in a while, like I'll have a bag of chips. Just once in a while. But I do my best to stay away from that. Like I don't have them really often at all.
Or like when you go to the movies or something like that, you're like, all right, popcorn, movies. Do you have like treats like that?
I usually get like a thing of popcorn because
Nice.
I mean it's the movies.
Yeah, because we don't want to like obviously encourage people to go so hard that it's super restrictive. Like you should still enjoy your life. Right?
I agree with that.
If you had a favorite, like I try not to call them cheat meals. It's more like, so we talk about it here at Street Parking or even in our family as like there's sometimes foods and then there's all the times foods, right? So like a tasty meal or something. What would be your favorite sometimes food?
Grilled cheese and tomato soup, definitely.
Okay.
I
That
love
sounds cozy.
Yeah. My mom makes the best grilled cheese and tomato soup, and I usually can't help myself from having at least 2 sandwiches because I love them. Yeah, that's my favorite like comfort food almost.
So you do a lot of things. Give me an idea of what's your schedule like weekly? Like how often are you doing these different sports? It sounds like you work out 5 days a week. When do you work out? Is it before school, after school, on the weekends? Like, so give me and I know it probably changes with your sports, like depending on what time of year it is, but give me an example of like a week where you're at right now.
Right now, Monday and Tuesday, really, because Wednesdays is weird. Wrestling practice, off-season wrestling practice. Monday, I'm usually doing just a daily workout with my dad. We're usually doing the vault, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
And then Tuesday, same thing. I maybe do a battle rope session, pretty sure. I love battle ropes.
That's really good for your wrestling too.
Oh yeah. Wednesday is a rest day for me because I mean, once a week I just gotta have that in there. Thursday is my bench session. Friday is usually a butts and guts. I'm pretty sure.
Okay, that's good.
Either a butts and guts or a D-ball session. I also love D-ball. I love all the dirty work. Saturday's team workout. Me and Dad do it together. And Sunday is endurance, 52 weeks of endurance. I do that with my mom. So that's right now in my life. That's what an average workout looks like. But in school in the first quarter, I have cross country Monday through Friday, and so I'm not able to get in as much. But I do try and do that as much as possible. Like when I come home, I'm doing a strength session, and same thing with wrestling third quarter. I don't think I'll be able to get in as much, but I will try to get some stuff on the weekends and after practice maybe.
Would you say that you work out more because you just genuinely enjoy it, or more because you have big goals for what you want to do in your future?
I think that's a mix of both, actually.
Yeah.
One, I love to work out. I enjoy it very, very much. And two, yeah, that's a mix of both. I want to get physically bigger. I want to get stronger. And so I think, one, I'm doing something I love, and two, it's helping me physically a lot. And so I think that's a mix of both.
How do you balance it with like homework time and stuff like that? Because I know that's already really hard for kids who play sports and stuff. It's like that's so demanding of your time, and then you're adding the fitness on top of it, and then you've got a bunch of homework.
Yeah, I think homework, which has been established in our household since day one, takes first priority over fitness, and just getting all things academically done, and then as soon as that's done, you can go into the gym and train. But I think if I have homework when I come home, I usually don't push it off until after a day in the gym. I like say to myself, okay, I'm getting everything that I can done, and then I'm gonna go into the gym and train. So that takes first priority in our household.
What's your favorite class in school right now?
Probably geometry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Math. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think it's so hard? Obviously, you know that you're kind of an anomaly. Like, you're different than most kids. Like, not all kids. Like, there's other people your age that are doing similar things to you and play sports and everything. But why do you think it's so hard for most kids, the majority of kids, to take care of themselves physically and be active? And why do you think that we're having like so many problems with unhealthy younger people?
Yeah, I think there's one or two things, or maybe even both things. One, screen addictions, I think, plays a big part. A lot of parents don't, like, by my phone, don't really, care what they do on it. And so if they have no limits, no restrictions, being able to download anything, anytime, I think that plays a big part in just taking their attention and not letting it go. And especially on social media, when they can sit there just scrolling for hours upon end. And other thing is, I think, is nutrition. I think that a lot of families are making the best choices when it comes to nutrition, and I think a big part is that parents or not older people, I didn't mean to say that. Parents or just really anyone, I don't think, get a lot of nutritional education, so they don't know the best choices to make for the families or for the house. And so I think screen addictions and nutrition come hand in hand.
So how are you with screens? Do you participate in social media? Do you I know you told me that you play video games, so how have you prevented yourself, or how have your parents helped you to not have that problem the same way that other people your age do?
Yeah, so I have a phone. I got it, I think, a year ago, but it's the rule that's been established was the phone is just for communication. Like, I have no social media. I don't really spend time playing really in games in it. I have limits for a lot of apps, but yeah, just none of these things that could contribute towards these big distractions in training. And so the phone is pretty much for communication. And video games, that's when everything is done. Like, that's when homework, training, making lunch for tomorrow, that's when everything is done. Then I will go on, but I probably don't want to stand for more than 2 hours, because then I start to feel it, get sort of a headache. But yeah, that's when everything is done. Or if one of my friends is back east and calls me up and asks if I want to play, then I'll get on, especially on the weekends when I can get training done either early or later. Then I'll take some time and play with them. So yeah. I mean, how have your parents helped you with that, though? Because it sounds simple. It's like, yeah, just parents, like, don't encourage your kids to not do that kind of stuff on their phone, or make sure that they finish everything. But it's a lot harder than it sounds, I think, for a lot of parents. So how have your parents helped you to, like, because you sound like you don't have a problem with it. Yeah.
How could they help their kids with that? Or what if you're somebody who's younger and you're already like, but I want to play video games for 4 hours when I get home from school, like, how do you think about it? Or how have your parents helped you with that, to have such a good attitude about it?
Yeah, I think the reason that I have such a good attitude about it is because they have such a good attitude about it, and they've shown me time and time again what living healthy and being healthy does to your body and does to your brain. I've just looked at that and said, I want to be like that. I want to grow up and be.
How have they shown you? Like, did they give examples? Like, have they actually taught you scientifically what happens to your brain? Like, how have they shown you?
Okay, they've shown me solely by example. Like
Okay.
they've never really pushed me to get in the gym. They never forced me to get in the gym. That was one of the big decisions they made, was they weren't going to force me. But they've shown me what it looks like to be in the gym, leading by example. And I mean, actions speak louder than words. And so I think if parents or anybody really, guardians, like actually show their kids like what it looks like, and not just like sitting down and saying, well, if you're healthy, this could happen. Like, I think if you're leading by example and like being like standing up and showing them what it looks like, I think that's how you can get more kids to live a healthy lifestyle. At least that's what worked for me. Like they've shown me, and I followed in their path, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's probably interesting, and you probably had this happen in your life, but at some point when you start going to friends' houses and stuff like that, do you even remember realizing that not everybody's family lived the way that you do? Like that their parents weren't healthy like your parents, or, oh my gosh, your parents don't exercise? Like, that's weird. Do you remember like realizing that about other people?
Oh yeah, I remember. I didn't make it obvious. I'm like, wait, what? I don't like to make people feel bad, I guess. So
right, of course.
I was taking everything in on the inside. Like, I was just like taking note of it. But I definitely remember the first time I went to one of my friend's house who had like a pantry just full of chips and full of junk food, I guess. So
right.
So yeah, I definitely remember that time, but
Yeah.
I took it in.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think our boys have hit that yet either, where everyone in their life kind of has a similar lifestyle to us at this point. What advice would you have to people your age that want to get healthy, and maybe they don't, obviously, to these people that they don't have parents who are going to push them the way that your parents do and encourage it? Like, what would you do, or what would you tell somebody maybe in that situation?
Normally, I would tell people to start with the nutrition, start with the food, start by making good food habits, and then progress from there. But also, since I'm talking to kids, maybe not have like a good like parent situation or anything.
Yeah, maybe they don't, because they're not going to buy, like, they're not buying the food, they just eat what's in their house, right?
Yeah. And so to kids, I would say that since they maybe don't know how to start that, I would say just don't be afraid to reach out for help to anyone, to kids who have made a choice to live healthy, to parents, friends who've made a choice to get healthy, to friends, anyone who has made a choice. Just don't be afraid to reach out and ask for help. And I know from personal experience, asking for help for these types of things can be very hard and embarrassing, frankly.
Right.
But if that will definitely help you if you do that.
Coaches and people like that,
Yeah.
that might be able to steer you in the right direction.
Yeah, those type of people. Just if you don't know where to start, ask for help and get help knowing where to start.
I would add to that, because you mentioned the social media thing, that people should also, and this is whether you're younger or older, be careful about getting all of your information about what is necessary or what's healthy from social media posts, because a lot of that stuff is set up to sell you something. Mm-hmm. And so, like, for your family and for what we do at street parking, it's not like, oh, you need these products, or, oh, you need this like over the top thing, or these like weird pieces of equipment, or this really expensive thing. It's like really simple, actually. It's like, I mean, if I were to talk to somebody of any age, it might be like, hey, try drinking actual just water, straight up water. Like, every time you grab a drink, make sure that it's not always something flavored or carbonated or something. Like, try a couple times a day just drinking straight up water, or add a piece of fruit or some vegetables. Even if your meal is McDonald's, have an apple with it. Like, try to add in some foods that are and that's, I think, things that people your age could ask their parents, like, hey, can we buy some fruit? I want to try eating a little bit more fruit. And their parents might be like, what in the world? Like, where's this coming from? When I was in high school, I had a friend who, I didn't grow up in a family that ate super healthy. Yeah. And I had a friend who, they just had a bowl of fruit on their kitchen table. And I thought that was really weird. And he would be like, do you want an orange? And I'd be like, what? Like you're just
Yeah.
gonna eat I thought that was really strange.
Mm-hmm.
But that person and his mom, who was like a spin instructor, is the reason that we're all here today. Because I was like, well, I'll go to the gym with you, or I'll go to your mom's spinning class, and
Yeah.
that's how I got into fitness. Was
That's super cool.
an example of another family. It wasn't even mine.
Yeah.
So you're going to help a lot of people
Yeah.
through your example, and they can look at you and what you're doing. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I know you have really big goals, and you want to continue to do more and learn more and just be in this fitness world and helping people. But do you ever personally go through periods where you don't feel like working out, where you get burnt out, you would rather just play video games all the time?
Sometimes, yeah. I go through those phases, not regularly, but I've been through those phases.
What do you do? Do you just like let it happen, and maybe you're like, maybe I just need a few days off, or do you push through it? Like, what's your take on that?
Well, sometimes I think it was one of the times where I was like, all right, maybe I just won't work out today, and so I did. And the next day, after watching my mom, my dad work out and get
FOMO?
Stronger and get fitter, I'm just like, that sucked. I miss an entire day of bettering my body and bettering my mind and getting physically and mentally stronger, just to do what? Sit around and not improve yourself. And so those like 1 or 2 days definitely influenced my choices to always be training. And when I have that thought, or like, what if I don't really want to work out today? What if I just took a day off? I think back and remember what that time was like where I didn't work out that day, and I was just like, I don't want to feel like that again. So
Yeah.
that those 2 times end up pushing me to work out even when I didn't feel like it.
Do your parents, like, if you tell your mom or your dad, like, I'm not going to work out today, I don't feel like it, what do they say to you?
They kind of know it'll happen if I don't work out, and how I feel, and how I like feel almost like guilty if I don't work out. So they're just like, all right, and leave it up to myself to think about that. And like a lot of times I'll end up getting in the gym like 5 minutes later.
Yeah. So they don't push you. They won't push you into it if you're saying you don't feel like it.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. Why is health and fitness so important to you? Like, why do you think this means so much to you?
I think that, one, because I was introduced to it so early. It's just been like a way of life. Really, to be honest, it's just been like what I do, and also because I have CrossFit goals later in my life.
That's right.
That I just thought, I should start young. The best time to start is now, and so I think that's the other reason why it's also very important. It's because of the goals I have later in life.
2 things. One, I think that you nailed it. It's like, this is just kind of like normal to me. We talk about, you've probably heard us talk about a little bit how you want to make working out or the healthy habits as normal as like just brushing your teeth. Like, it's just, you just brush your teeth. Like, nobody necessarily enjoys that, but it's just something that you do.
Yeah, it's just
and
the
it
way of
sounds
life.
like because you grew up around it, it's not ever something that you really thought about so much. It's just what you do, and now it's normal.
Yeah, it's almost like drinking water almost to me.
Right.
Like,
and you're so lucky to have that mindset, because that's going to go with you forever.
Yeah.
What are if you want to put it out there, what are your goals that you have for yourself?
Long-term goals, I think, get my CrossFit 1 and 2 certification later in life. I'm really hoping to compete in regionals and maybe in the games, but I know if I'm going to do that, I really have to step my training up and actually, like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. Now I'm going to train my hardest for it. And so those are a couple long-term CrossFit goals. Oh, yeah, and maybe even open up a gym. That's been one of my goals. And so those are my CrossFit goals for later in life.
That's cool.
Yeah.
All right, and I've asked everybody this, that when we've done our episodes of this type of podcast with the members, if you had one piece of advice to the street parking members, what would it be?
To members who want to start taking care of themselves, or
just anyone. Maybe they just joined, or maybe they're somebody who's been doing it for a while that is sometimes motivated and sometimes not. Like, what's one piece of advice that you would give to them?
stay in it for the long run. Definitely. This is going to help you and apply to so many real life situations your entire life, even when you're young or when you're old. Like any of this, if you stay in this for the long run, this is going to help you so much for so many instances in your life. So I would say definitely stay in this for the long run.
I can't wait for people to see your vault, because I loved watching you. Yours was very mental.
Yeah,
and I loved watching you fight through it and not letting any setbacks. Our light just turned off. That's okay. They can still hear us.
Yeah.
If you're watching the video, we have no light. But and not letting, there was a minor setback that happened, but you didn't let it get to you, and you just kept moving on. And I can't wait for people to see that.
Yeah, I was that vault especially was just so mental. Like I feel like it was like a bit more mental than physical. I feel like
I think so too.
Because it was just. Yeah, I feel like it's more mentally physical.
Well, we're so lucky that we had you here with us this week, and thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on. This has been a dream of mine since I knew what street parking was. So thank you so much for having me on.